Hey group. Okay, so we're going to get going on lesson 12 here in our math, and we're going to take a look at ungrouping or borrowing, okay? Keep in mind the math book, the top page is going to talk about ungrouping. And all I mean by ungrouping is we're taking away a group of 10 or one group of 10 and putting that in the next number. That's what they mean by ungrouping. We just call it borrowing, okay? So let's take a look at page 345. Or lesson 12, okay? And we have 328 minus 176. And then we'll also do number 2 as well, which is 635 minus 176. Okay? So, let's go ahead and let's take a look at these. So starting out with number 1 over here, we're going to start at the ones column. 8 minus 6, and that equals 2. Good. We didn't need to borrow there because 8 is greater than 6, so we can just borrow or just subtract the borrowing. Now, going to the tens. 2 minus 7. Well, 2, we have to cross out because it's less than 7, so 2 becomes 12, and that means I had to borrow from the hundreds place and make that a 2. So then, 12 minus 7 equals 5, 2 minus 1 equals 1, and my answer then is 152. Okay, now, down at the bottom it says, how many times did you ungroup? And in this spot, since we only ungrouped from the hundreds to the tens, we only ungrouped one time. So how many times did you ungroup? Just write down a 1 in that spot because we only had to ungroup once. Okay? All right, let's go to number 2 and do the same thing. Number 2, starting over here, 5 minus 6. 5 is a smaller number, so 5 then becomes 15. I have to cross off the 3 because I borrowed from the 10. That becomes 2. Now, 15 minus 6 equals 9. Good. 2 minus 7. 2 is less than 7. So, borrowing from the hundreds place to make this 12. 12 minus 7 equals, good, 5. And 5 minus 1 equals 4. Now, we need to answer the question again. How many times did I regroup? Or how many times, or ungroup, or how many times did I borrow? Well, I borrowed to the ones place, and I also borrowed to the tens place. So therefore, we borrowed twice, or you can just write down 2 times. Okay? So that's what you're doing on this side. So you're going to do the borrowing, or not borrowing if you don't have to, and then however many times you borrowed, you're going to write that down at the bottom. That's how you do the front side of page 345 on lesson 12. On the back side, you're doing the same thing. There's just 4 more problems to do there, okay? So just some subtracting, borrowing if you need to, and then telling you how many. Now, if you go to the second worksheet that's attached to this, the 6-12, page 179, 180, we have more of the same. And then down at the bottom are a couple of story problems. If you go to page 180, it's at the top, you have some money you need to work with, there's a story problem, and then there's another problem. Let's take a look at the stretch of thinking. Stretch of thinking says, what 3-digit number would need no ungrouping to subtract from? All right, so what they're saying is, what number, this is number 4, stretch of thinking, what number would I subtract from where I would not need to ungroup? Okay? So in other words, when I go to subtract from it, no matter what the number is on the bottom, I don't need to borrow. So if the number is 212 or whatever it is, well, let's look. If my number is 362, I don't have to borrow, do I? But what about if I change this? And all of a sudden this number down here is now 299. Now do I have to borrow? Yep, so it can't be 362. So we need to think, what number do I have to have in the ones place that I would never have to borrow to subtract from? In other words, what is the biggest ones digit that there is? Anybody? You have an idea? Sure. It's 9, right? Because no matter what number I have, even all the way up to 9, I don't have to borrow. If I have a 9 up here and a 9 down here, that's as big a number as I can get on the bottom. 9 minus 9 equals 0. No borrowing needed. So in the tens place, what's it going to be? Yep, same thing. It's going to be a 9 as well. 9 tenths, because if I have 9 tenths on the bottom, I'm still not going to have to borrow, because it's still going to be 0. And how about in my hundreds place? What's the biggest number? What's this number going to have to be so I don't have to borrow? You guessed it, 9 again. So my biggest 3-digit number that I can have, that's the only 3-digit number that I would never have to borrow on, is right there, 999. Because a 9 and a 9 and a 9, I don't have to borrow on the bottom. My answer is going to end up being just plain old 0. But that's the number you're going to need for the structure of thinking. Okay? All right. We'll check lesson 13 next. Okay? Catch you later.